Upon waking up, Chen Fan traveled to the high martial world invaded by fierce beasts, where the human race was like ants, while Chen Fan awakened his ordinary fire talent. Fortunately, the divine level system has been awakened, and sunbathing can make it stronger. Ding! You bask in the sun all day, your martial arts are perfect. Ding! You've been sunbathing for a month, and your realm has broken through. Ding! You've been sunbathing for a year, you become a god. The fierce beast invaded, and Chen Fan lazily stood up and punched out, annihilating the fierce beast with flying ash. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Divine System Awakens. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Star City. Civilian areas. In a tiled room, a handsome man slowly opened his eyes. The man's face was covered in sweat, as if he had had a nightmare, and he was suddenly awakened. Xiao Fan. At this moment, a gentle voice came from his ear. The man looked up and saw a woman in her 40s, whose skin was still delicate, but the ravages of time left marks on her face. Next to her, there was a youthful-looking woman who looked just 16 years old. She stood tall and graceful, wearing a T-shirt on her upper body and light blue jeans on her lower body. Brother, it's okay. You are very good at reading, even if you only awaken ordinary talents, you are destined to make a name for yourself. The woman, who looked very beautiful and full of youth, spoke comfortingly. At this moment, a large amount of memories flooded the man's mind. Originally, he has now traveled through time, and the owner of this body is called Chen Fan. The middle-aged woman is his mother, named Chen Yu, while the young woman is his sister Chen Shui. I didn't expect to live a lifetime again. Chen Fan's eyes lit up. He was seriously ill in his past life, and in the end, he only remembered the solemnity and sobbing from his parents around him. I thought I would reincarnate, but I didn't expect to travel through this special era. Having a healthy body is no longer a sign of weakness or illness. That's right. In his previous life, his name was also Chen Fan, and he had the same name and surname as the original owner of this body. Chen Fan suddenly felt a piercing sensation in his mind, and more information flooded in. It turned out that the original owner of his body was a high school student, who ranked first in his grade through studying and was truly a top student. If it were in an ordinary era, a top student would be respected. But this is not an ordinary era. Even if you have good grades, it's just that you are good at studying, and it's difficult to achieve great success in the future. At most, being a small official will limit your future achievements. The mainstream of this era is warriors. Every powerful warrior is a well-known presence that everyone pursues. Warriors hold supreme power and are renowned throughout the world. According to Chen Fan's memory, the talents of warriors can be divided into several different levels. Ordinary, excellent, elite, extraordinary, holy, and divine. After reaching adulthood, everyone has an opportunity to awaken, and the higher their talent, the greater their future achievements. But Chen Fan is quite unlucky. Although he is a top student, many people believe that he will awaken his powerful talent. Because academic elites represent extremely high intelligence, people with high intelligence in this era are more likely to awaken their powerful talents. But what surprised everyone was that what he awakened was only the most ordinary fire-type talent. The most ordinary talent represents that he will never become a warrior in his lifetime. Although there is a glimmer of hope, it is very slim. Nowadays, he has just entered the early stage of martial arts, which is a realm that almost every awakened person will step into. The martial arts realm is divided into 10 small realms, and the highest level of cultivation is the 10 levels of martial arts. Ordinary talent, the highest achievement in this life, is almost the 10th level of martial arts. Only some can step into martial arts, but this is only the limit. Behind the warriors, there are also martial artists, masters, great masters, generals, marquises, and kings. These realms also have 10 small realms. Chen Fan currently knows that the strongest realm is the venerable realm above the title of king. It is said that reaching this level can possess supreme power like a deity in mythology. Chen Fan has only seen such characters on television, and in reality, he cannot see them at all. It is said that people who reach this level are almost two species from ordinary people. They can kill a large number of ferocious beasts with every move they make, which is the sea god needle of the Dragon Kingdom. That's right, although everyone can awaken their talents and become a warrior, this era is also a dangerous one. A large number of ferocious beasts invaded, and human territory was reduced by half due to the ferocious beasts. Later, the human race began to awaken various talents, and through the efforts of countless ancestors, they built one city wall after another, successfully resisting the ferocious beasts. However, each generation has its own mission. Although our ancestors forged city walls to resist ferocious beasts, they are endless and can break through the city at any time. Every warrior must go and kill them to become stronger through experience. Only in this way can we inherit from generation to generation, give birth to more powerful warriors, resist fierce beasts from outside, and protect the human race. So, once you become a warrior, you must be strong to survive. Otherwise, you will only be torn in half by fierce beasts and turned into cold corpses. According to statistics, the first time a warrior goes to the front line for training, there will be a mortality rate of over 70%. But no one can retreat. If they remain strong, one day a powerful beast will tear apart the city wall, and their loved ones and friends will be torn apart by the beast. Only with strength can one protect everything they want. Even if the mortality rate is high, no warrior will retreat. Of course, although every warrior will go out to experience resisting fierce beasts, the higher the talent of the warrior, the later they go out to experience. So a martial arts assessment has been established, and those who fail the assessment will be sent to the front line as soon as possible to resist fierce beasts, with a high probability of becoming cannon fodder. Once you pass the assessment, you can obtain more cultivation resources and even join the top 10 schools. The top 10 academic palaces are equivalent to Chen Fan not crossing the top universities before, cultivating the top martial artists. It is said that each of these 10 university palaces has cultivated digital masters, so it is famous. The 10 great learning palaces are the places that all martial artists most want to join, and they are also the places with the most resources for humans. Once entering the top 10 schools, there will be explosive growth, and as long as the talent is strong enough, the improvement will become more terrifying. Of course, the top 10 academic palaces are still quite distant and impossible for Chen Fan. Because the top 10 schools almost only admit talents of elite or above, and the elimination rate is astonishing. Only one of the 10 elites may be able to join the top 10 schools. So, once you join the top 10 academic palaces, it's a step toward success for anyone, and even your family will be blessed to move to the elite area ruled by the top 10 academic palaces. That is the safest place. Even if a ferocious beast breaks through the city wall, there are strong warriors from the top 10 schools who resist the beast and kill it. And the poor areas do not have this treatment anymore. The civilian areas are close to the city walls, and once the fierce beasts break through, the first to suffer are the civilians. It is unknown how many people will die as a result. Over the years, Chen Fan has also witnessed once, a terrifying giant bird and ferocious beast tearing apart the city wall and swallowing hundreds of people on the spot. Fortunately, a strong person responded promptly and killed him, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. However, based on his current talent, this cannon fodder is definitely certain, so Chen Fan's mood is a bit terrible now. After all, just crossing over, if you fail the assessment a month later, you are likely to die again. So what is the significance of crossing over? Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully awakening the divine level system. The host only needs to be exposed to sunlight to become stronger suddenly, a mechanical sound echoed in Chen Fan's mind, like a robot whispering in its ear. Chapter 2. Sun God Body, Divine King Level Talent. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Brother, what are you staring at? Although Chen Shui is young, she has already grown up tall and graceful, with a pair of slender and round long legs. At this moment, she looked at Chen Fan's silence for a while, as if he was a bit lost in thought, and then she asked. The biggest concern for their family now is Chen Fan. Since her brother returned from testing his qualifications, he hasn't even read books and has been locked in his room for 3 days, not eating or drinking. The whole family is afraid that something will happen to Chen Fan. Yes, even if Xiao Fan lacks talent in martial arts and studies well, there will eventually be other ways out. I heard that some people who are good at reading will be favored by special departments and serve them, even without having to go to the front line to kill ferocious beasts. Although Chen's mother is in her 40s, she can still see traces of her youth, and her figure has not gained weight. It can be imagined that she was also a great beauty when she was young. She actually said these words mainly to give her son hope. She also knew that awakening ordinary talents would have a great impact on her son, especially his own son, who was a genius but only a genius in reading. This kind of person has their own arrogance. They had a smooth journey, but suddenly suffered a huge blow. People with weak resilience may even go crazy. However, at this moment, Chen Fan's eyes showed a look of ecstasy. The system has awakened, and this is his golden finger, the capital for his strength. What about even ordinary talents? Even with his most ordinary talents, he can still stand at the pinnacle of martial arts in the future, despite having a system. Mom, Xiaoxue, don't worry, I understand all of this. Chen Fan's face showed a smile, as if he was truly relieved. That's good. You haven't eaten for several days. There's hot congee for you outside. I'll bring it in right now. Then Chen Yu walked out of the gate, and the sound of her footsteps gradually faded away. She came back soon, carrying a bowl of steaming congee. Following Chen Yu in, there was also a man with a black beard, wearing black casual clothes and a smell of smoke. Chen Fan looked at this person and knew that it was his father Chen Liyuan. You just need to figure it out. Even if you can't become a warrior, it's not a big deal. After going to the front line last time, you can still live a very comfortable life, can't you? Chen Fu said with a smile. He doesn't know how to comfort people, and he usually speaks very little. If you don't know how to speak, speak less and don't cause trouble here. Chen's mother glared at Chen's father and gestured for him to go out quickly. My son finally calmed down. Okay, I'll go out now. Chen's father walked out helplessly, and his family status was clear at a glance. After Chen Fan finished a bowl of century egg lean meat congee, he felt that he had regained a lot of strength. Mother, I want to have another bowl. Chen Fan handed the bowl over. Chen's mother smiled as her son finally agreed to eat. It seemed like he had been hungry for a long time and everything he ate was delicious. Brother, Chen Shui suddenly stood up. Actually, talent cannot determine everything. Even ordinary talents can become warriors, as long as you work hard. Chen Fan looked up at his sister with a hint of concern in his eyes. I'm afraid his younger sister thought he was forced to pretend now. I know. Chen Fan nodded, feeling very calm inside. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the beginner gift pack. Suddenly, the sound of the system rang out again in his mind. Open. Chen Fan silently recited in his heart. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining the sun god body. According to legend, the physique that can absorb the divine fire of the sun can control the fire of all things, can burn any enemy to ashes, surpasses divine level talents, and can be called divine king level talents. In Chen Fan's mind, such a prompt sound appeared. Chen Fan smiled on his face, realizing that his strongest talent was a divine level talent, and he didn't expect there to be a divine king level talent that surpassed divine level talents. Sure enough, with the golden finger, all difficulties became easily solved. At this time, Mother Chen brought in a new bowl of congee. Chen Fan wolfed it down and felt strong enough to go out and bask in the sun. Chen Fan put on his slippers on the ground and walked to the balcony. At the balcony, golden sunlight happened to fall, casting a golden hue on the ground. Chen Fan took a small stool and sat on the balcony, feeling the warm sunshine. Ding! Energy plus 10. A large amount of energy began to increase, and Chen Fan felt more joyful in his mood. After the awakening of the sun god body, Chen Fan only felt warm all over his body and had endless power to use. Especially after basking in the sun, I feel like the sunlight has been absorbed by myself, transforming into pure power within my body. Chen Fan began to slowly close his eyes, and surprisingly, he was emitting a faint heat all over his body, as if he had just walked out of a steam room. He could feel every inch of his muscles changing, as if a fire was burning. But one's own strength is also constantly increasing, and this perception is particularly evident. Chen Fan began to look at the attribute panel inside his body. Host. Chen Fan, Realm. Martial Apprentice Level 1, can be improved, Martial Arts. Rolling Stone Fist, Energy Value. 100, continuously increasing. Can 100 energy elevate one's realm? Chen Fan chose to elevate without hesitation. The energy quickly dissipated, and then Chen Fan felt a surge in his muscles, and every cell became active. His breath instantly became even stronger, and the power of his qi and blood suddenly surged dozens of times. The 4 levels of martial arts students unexpectedly broke through 3 small realms at once. Chen Fan felt his power and couldn't help but be somewhat shocked. Originally, a martial artist only had a power of about 100 pounds per weight. But now, Shi Jian feels that his strength is endless, at least increasing by more than 10 times. I'm afraid my strength has reached 3,000 pounds now. Chen Fan clenched his fist. He can feel that most of the muscles in his body have been developed, as if he has awakened, which is why his strength growth is so rapid. However, Chen Fan did not test his strength here. After all, this is his home, and if he accidentally damages it, it will not be good. However, after the breakthrough, Chen Fan felt like he had undergone a complete transformation, becoming full of energy and even improving his vision. He could even see his figure several tens of meters away clearly. Indeed, martial artists are the mainstream of this era. Chen Fan moved his muscles and bones, feeling very confident. Even now, he has a high possibility of going out of the city gate to kill a ferocious beast and can safely return to the city. With these thoughts in mind, Chen Fan went to the bathroom, briefly wiped his body, changed into dry clothes, and once again went to the balcony to bask in the sun. Chapter 3. Breakthrough Warriors, Qi and Blood Like Dragons. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Fan's actions made both his father and mother feel very strange. They originally thought their son had figured it out, and the first thing they would do was to study. As a result, my son ran to the balcony to bask in the sun and seemed to have lost interest in studying. Is my brother giving up on himself? Chen Shui muttered. Now she can only think of this possibility, otherwise it would be impossible to explain Chen Fan's abnormal behavior. You should know that Chen Fan is usually an otaku. Others stay at home to play games, while he stays at home to study. Apart from going out, I hardly ever come into contact with the sunlight, let alone actively go to the balcony to bask in the sun. Hey! It's better to give up, there's a way out by studying hard, Chen's father sighed, but there was still a hint of concern in his eyes. When he was young, he also went to the battlefield to kill ferocious beasts, knowing that the outside world was extremely dangerous. Any slight mistake might lead to death on the battlefield. I also narrowly escaped death, only then can I start a family. So his current hope is that his son can successfully come back alive from the battlefield. Go and see Xiaofan. The worried expression in Chen's mother's eyes was evident in her words. She doesn't want her son to be wrapped in a horse's clothing. Then the two of them came to Chen Fan's side. Xiao Fan, there is still 1 month left for the assessment. Even if you don't study now, you still need to practice more. Going to the battlefield is too dangerous. Chen's mother is the most worried about Chen Fan. If she had a choice, she would never let her son go to the battlefield and rush to the front line to fight against fierce beasts. But in this era, she has no other choice. Anyone who becomes a warrior must go to the front line, it's just a matter of time. Yeah. Chen's father stood next to his mother and nodded, you must have enough strength to go to the battlefield. I hope you come back safely. Chen Fan looked at his parents in this lifetime and felt a warm feeling in his heart. His parents in this lifetime gradually overlap with those who came before he traveled. Since I have successfully traveled, I should treat them like my biological parents. Chen Fan probably knew that the original owner of his body was likely to have died due to being subjected to too strong a blow, and what he fused was only the person's memories during their lifetime. Since we have control over this body, we naturally have to fulfill our corresponding obligations. Mom and Dad, don't worry, I'm fine, and I won't be on the front line in a month. I will successfully pass the martial arts assessment. Chen Fan confidently said. At this moment, the energy in his body is constantly increasing, and it seems that it is almost reaching 200 energy. Is it really okay? Chen's mother looked a bit worried. It's really nothing, just go do whatever you need, I'll just bask in the sun for a while. Chen Fan looked a bit impatient, all of which were fabricated by combining his own memory. Okay. Chen's parents had to leave the balcony, leaving Chen Fan alone here. Breakthrough. Chen Fan silently recited in his heart, and 200 energy quickly dissipated. Chen Fan once again elevated himself to 2 small levels. You should know that it has only been half a day now, and you have directly broken through 5 small realms. If this spreads, it will shock many people. Even divine-level talents cannot achieve such terrifying cultivation speed. With the improvement of his realm, Chen Fan's power of qi and blood became stronger again, and he could feel every inch of his muscles seem to be boiling hot. The development of the body has become more profound. Subsequently, Chen Fan's breath kept adjusting in a wonderful rhythm. At this moment, he felt like there was a big furnace burning fiercely inside his body. His own strength was once again strengthened, growing several times in an instant, and the muscle lines on his body became very obvious. When Chen Fan looked inside his body, he saw a new row of numbers on the panel. Host. Chen Fan, Realm. Wutu Lu Chong, 5,000 pounds of strength, martial arts. Rolling Stone Fist, energy value. 0, continuously increasing. With such terrifying power increasing, Chen Fan felt unparalleled strength. Of course, he also knew that this was an illusion brought to him by the constant increase in power. However, now he has far surpassed the average warrior's 6th level, and his strength is no longer at the same level. It is said that in order to achieve a strength of 5,000 pounds, one must break through to the level of 10 martial arts disciples, but now he has broken this rule. The sun god body is truly powerful, and now when Chen Fan's mind moves, a golden flame even appears on his palm, emitting an astonishing temperature. Power is just one of them, and the elemental power controlled by the sun god body is also a terrifying means. Thinking of these, Chen Fan stretched lazily and continued to sit on the chair, lazily sunbathing. A day passed quickly, and the distant golden mist sank to the west, leaving behind a sky full of sunset afterglow. Dusk has arrived, and the sunlight is gradually fading. At this moment, Chen Fan has successfully collected 300 points of energy, and a breakthrough prompt is displayed behind the 6th level of the martial apprentice. I don't know what kind of improvement I will have when I step into the realm of martial arts. Chen Fan could vaguely feel that once he broke through the martial artist, it would probably be a new world. However, there is no sun today, and there is a high probability that I can only break through to the 8th level of martial arts. The martial arts realm still needs to wait for some time. However, with his breakthrough, his strength became stronger and stronger, and Chen Fan also wanted to go outside and try it out. Chen Fan left the balcony and greeted Chen's mother. "Mom, my classmate invited me to dinner today, so I won't eat at home." Chen Fan put on his sports shoes and left with his phone. Of course, this reason was casually fabricated by him. "Don't play too late, come back early." Chen's mother's voice came from the kitchen. Chen Fan opened the door, left this place, and arrived at a park. Perhaps it was time to eat now, and there were not many people in the park. Chen Fan found a place to sit down, silently reciting in his heart. Breakthrough. 300 energy points quickly dissipated, and Chen Fan could feel his body getting hotter and hotter. A large amount of white gas emanated from his head, like cooked shrimp. Chen Fan's body also began to tremble slightly. He could feel a hot current crazily spreading throughout his body, constantly flushing his body. Chen Fan sat in place, his breathing becoming longer. After a moment, Chen Fan suddenly opened his eyes, with a strong gleam in his eyes. Breaking through to the 8th level of martial arts and apprenticeship, at this moment, the strength inside him has reached 8,000 pounds. This power is already infinitely close to that of a warrior. And I am still in the 8th level of martial arts and have great potential. Chen Fan casually swung a fist, causing a sonic boom in the air, which seemed to even explode. The chi and blood on Chen Fan's body also became incredibly terrifying, like a real dragon. Chen Fan is full of confidence in this martial arts assessment and is destined to make a remarkable achievement in a month. Task trigger. Achieve first place in warrior assessment and double the energy of sunbathing. The sound of the system echoed in Chen Fan's mind. Chen Fan's face was calm, and his heart was incredibly confident. He said, "I will take the first place in the martial arts assessment." Subsequently, Chen Fan prepared to try and see how strong the 8,000 pounds of power were. Of course, the best place to test strength is outside the city. Chen Fan was as light as a swallow and walked towards the outside of the city. Chapter 4. Instantly Fierce Beasts, the Power of Martial Arts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The night is as cool as water. Chen Fan successfully left Star City and arrived outside the city gate. During this period, no one stopped him. Everyone knows that fierce beasts are raging outside the city gate. Without a certain level of strength, no one would choose to leave the city and die. At this moment, the sky is a bit dim, and there are even cool gusts of cold wind blowing around. Chen Fan walked calmly forward and arrived at a dense forest, where people were rarely seen. Sha sha. Suddenly, a sound came from the grass and trees in front of them. Chen Fan stopped and squinted his eyes to look in the direction of the swaying grass and trees. A moment later, a black giant wolf the size of a calf walked out of the forest. This black giant wolf had crimson eyes and stared intently at Chen Fan, only to see crystal clear saliva continuously slipping from his mouth. This is the ferocious beast. Outside the city wall, almost all animals have mutated and turned into ferocious beasts. Seeing the black giant wolf, Chen Fan was not surprised and remained very calm. This is just a level 1 ferocious beast. The corresponding realm is just a martial arts disciple. After all, he is not too far from the city wall now. The black giant wolf treated Chen Fan as a dinner delivered to his door. Roar. The giant wolf roared and disappeared into place, rushing towards Chen Fan with a gust of fishy wind. Shi Jian didn't dodge or dodge, and directly punched back. Bang. The powerful force directly exploded the head of the black wolf, killing it with one strike. The headless body fell down, and Chen Fan's hands were stained with some blood. The first time killing a ferocious beast, a normal person should be afraid, but Chen Fan's heart is very calm. In records, any ferocious beast is extremely terrifying, but in the face of absolute power, these ferocious beasts are almost like ants. Chen Fan took out a tissue, wiped the blood off his fist, and looked at the headless corpse on the ground, but a smile appeared on his face. The fierce beast is nothing but that. Of course, this is also because the fierce beast he is facing has too low strength. After all, this is not yet a true frontline battlefield. Half of the power just now should be enough to blow up this fierce beast. Chen Fan felt like he was exerting too much force just now. After all, it was his first time dealing with a fierce beast, and he didn't hesitate. Chen Fan is very satisfied with the powerful power. He didn't use any martial arts just now, he just used his physical strength. If martial arts are used, the power will be even stronger. At this moment. Ding ding dang. Ding ding dang. The phone suddenly rings. Chen Fan took out his phone and looked at the caller ID, which read the words, close friend. Zhao Heng. This is the name of his close friend. The two of them have a great relationship on weekdays and are also sitting at the same table, just like brothers. Occasionally, when I have time, I also go to an internet cafe to surf the internet, known as the double swordsman of the internet cafe, where ghosts see sorrow in the canyon. Chen Fan pressed the green button directly and began answering. Chen Fan, have you been okay lately? A voice of concern came from the phone. I'm fine. Chen Fan said lightly. You're in a good mood. It seems like you've figured it out. Where are you now? Do you want to come online? Tonight, Zhao Gongzi will pay the bill, and Wu Hei is just one less than you. I won't go. Chen Fan refused directly, feeling that his ideology as a close ally was somewhat detached. Don't go, pull it down. I just want to know you're okay. I'll go to the canyon to fight first. I'll contact you if there's anything else. Goodbye. The other party quickly hung up the phone. At the same time. First middle school. In an office, an old man holding a thermos sat on an office chair drinking tea. There are also some middle-aged men around him, both male and female, who are teachers from the school. The old man with white hair holding a thermos is the principal of the first middle school. You all know the results of this assessment. In our first high school, there are no outstanding martial artists with outstanding talents in this class, and the highest level is only an elite-level talent in the genre. The principal took a sip of tea and said with a serious expression. The teachers around lowered their heads slightly, clearly feeling a bit embarrassed. Their first high school is a well-known high school nearby, which can be said to be the best school. However, this year there was not a single top talent, and it all caught the attention of third high school. Hey! I came to see Zhong Chen Fan. His academic performance is so good, and I thought he could awaken. His powerful talent is expected to be extraordinary, but unfortunately it's just an ordinary fire-type talent. What a pity. A middle-aged man wearing golden glasses sighed, as he was Chen Fan's homeroom teacher and had high hopes for him. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. The other teachers also showed a sympathetic expression. Because in everyone's perception, the stronger the reading ability, the stronger the comprehension ability, and the possibility of awakening powerful talents will be extremely high. They also did not expect such an unacceptable result. There's no need to say so much nonsense. This year, I plan to apply to the higher-ups to expand my enrollment. I hope all teachers will work hard to discover top talented martial artists in the coming year. The principal said these words to everyone. All the teachers are used to it, because the principal is not saying such things for the first time, but the probability of success is very low. Moreover, without looking at their academic performance, it is impossible to determine which individuals are geniuses or ordinary warriors, except on the day of awakening. Even expanding enrollment is useless. Principal, I heard that the popular candidate for the first place in the martial arts assessment this time is said to be a person from the third middle school, who has awakened his elite-level extreme cold talent. It is very likely that he will reach the later stage of the martial arts assessment before the assessment. Is this true? A haughty female teacher asked. She was well informed, so she received the news in advance. The principal gave a bitter smile and said, "I'm lucky this year at 3rd middle school. I've produced several elite talents, and I've even produced a good seedling. I have a chance to become a great master." Hiss. The teachers around took a cold breath in an instant, and then showed a look of envy on their faces. It is not certain that a genius like this from 3rd middle school will gain more cultivation resources in the future, and may even replace the position of 1st middle school. After all, in this era, the strong are respected. Even elite talents have hierarchical divisions, and there is a gap between the most ordinary elite talents and the top elite talents. An extreme cold talent is the top elite talent, even comparable to extraordinary to some extent. The first high school joined one of the top 10 schools 15 years ago due to its lightning talent at the top elite level, and now it has become a great master. So first high school firmly occupies the top position in Star City. On the other side, Chen Fan is preparing to practice the F.level martial arts rolling stone fist. F.level martial arts correspond to the martial disciple realm, and Chen Fan should have practiced higher level martial arts, which is E.level martial arts. Unfortunately, Chen Fan, as a commoner, has not yet received the E.level martial arts assessment. So he can only settle for 2nd place. As for D.level martial arts, they correspond to the martial artist's realm, C.level martial arts correspond to the master's realm, and so on. There are also 5 levels of martial arts: B, A, S, SS, and SSS. Chen Fan learned that the highest level of martial arts is SSS level martial arts, and it is said that only the Venerable can unleash the strongest power of this martial arts. However, all of this is still quite distant from Chen Fan. After gaining a strong physique, Chen Fan began practicing rolling stone fist and discovered that the 10 simple techniques of this martial art were to mobilize the power of qi and blood in his body to erupt. When practicing to perfection, one can concentrate one's strength on one point, break through the surface with points, and destroy the opponent's vitality from within. This is not too difficult for Chen Fan, perhaps because he is a top student himself, and due to the sun god body, it was completed in just a few breaths. Drink. Chen Fan unleashed his rolling stone fist, hitting a blue stone over 1 meter high with one punch. On the surface of the stone, there was only a shallow stone mark, but after a few breaths, the blue stone began to crumble from the inside, turning into a large number of stones that fell to the ground with a loud crash. Chen Fan is very satisfied with this improvement, as it can unleash even stronger power. What a powerful force! Chen Fan had a smile on his face, and his heart was full of pride. He could become stronger by sunbathing, and in just one day, he reached the 8th level of martial arts. Give him enough time, he will be invincible in this world, and the realm of the Venerable will also come sooner or later. As for the 1-month assessment, Chen Fan didn't pay much attention to it. With one's own strength, the first place is completely effortless and without any difficulty. Chapter 5. The 10 Heavens of Martial Arts and the Great Strength of 10,000 Catties. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After testing his strong strength, Chen Fan left the outer city and returned to the city. After going out, Chen Fan felt that his whole mood had changed. Originally, he was still worried about the ferocious beast, afraid that he would not pass the martial arts assessment and die in battle on the front line. But now, Chen Fan's heart is as calm as water, which is the confidence that comes with having strong strength. Returning home, with the light still on, Chen Fan opened the door with the key and walked in softly. "Xiao Fan, you're back." Upon hearing the sound, Chen's father lying on the sofa rubbed his sleepy eyes. "Dad, sister, have they been sleeping yet?" Your mother asked me to wait for you to come back, and now that you're back, I can finally go to sleep well." "Got it." The father and son had very little communication, just casually discussing a few words before returning to their respective rooms. In Chen Fan's memory, he himself was not good at communicating with his father. Chen Fan took a shower and then returned to his room, lying down peacefully. He looked at his palm and couldn't see any pores. It looked very delicate, a bit like white jade. This is the transformation brought about by the powerful realm. I really look forward to the day when martial artists' assessments come. Chen Fan closed his eyes with peace of mind and quickly fell asleep. At night, he had a beautiful dream, and by the time he opened his eyes the next day, the outside world was already brightly lit. Chen Fan opened the curtains, and the sunlight shone on him. The sound of increased energy quickly kept reminding him inside. After brushing his teeth and washing his face, Chen Fan came to the table, where there were steaming congee in sunbeam paste buns. He sat on the table expertly, ate a mouthful of steamed buns and drank a mouthful of congee, and felt a warm feeling in his stomach. You should eat hot and steaming food in the morning. After finishing the food, Chen Fan felt that his whole body had become energized. And he found that after his strong qi and blood power, he also ate more food. 8 bean paste buns and a bowl of congee made him half full. You know, he only eats this little thing a day on weekdays, and he can't even eat too much. Mom, cook more lunch. Chen Fan said to the kitchen. Chen's mother, who was washing dishes in the kitchen, quickly responded. Okay. Her face showed a smile, thinking it was her own son who hadn't eaten in so many days, so her appetite has been growing during these times. If a person can eat, that's right, but they may not be able to eat. After finishing breakfast, Chen Fan leisurely came to the balcony to bask in the sun, feeling the warm sunshine and the growing energy in his body. Chen Fan felt refreshed, and today he could probably reach the level of 10 martial arts disciples. At that time, his strength would increase again. Unconsciously, Chen Fan spent another morning sunbathing, but this energy was not enough to support its breakthrough. Chen Fan is not in a hurry, the recent breakthrough speed is already fast enough. Xiaofan, when are you planning to go to school? Asked Chen's mother. Mom, I won't go to school until the martial arts assessment. Chen Fan is eating the food in his bowl. Chen's mother furrowed her brow, but soon it stretched out again. Let's take a month off from school. As long as we figure it out, it's good to be safe. After all, she only has such a son. I'm back. The door opened and Chen's father returned home. He took half a day off from work today. After finishing his meal, Chen Fan went to the balcony to bask in the sun, looking very comfortable. Not reading books or practicing is seen by outsiders as self-abandonment. Is this child not going to school anymore? Upon hearing Chen's mother's words, Chen's father was somewhat surprised and even somewhat surprised. You should know that his own son is very passionate about learning. He has never taught much, but his own son takes the first place in his grade every day. But now that I have awakened my talent, I have lost interest in going to school, which is really difficult. Don't say it so loudly. If you don't go, then don't go. Don't let the child hear it. Chen's mother glared at Chen's father. Chen's father immediately lowered his voice and said, it's okay not to go to school anymore. After coming down from the front line, it's also good to find a good job. The couple didn't disturb Chen Fan, so they decided to go out for a walk. They had just walked out of the door when they met Chen Shui, who had returned. Parents. Why did you come back so quickly? Don't you have to go to school? Today, the school is doing a big cleaning and we have a half day off. Anyway, I am also a day student and plan to read books at home. Then don't disturb your brother. Got it. Chen Shui took off her black leather shoes and put on a pair of slippers. As she passed by the living room, she happened to see Chen Fan sunbathing on the balcony. Chen Shui sighed, knowing that her brother was probably completely self-destructive. She likes to read to a certain extent because Chen Fan likes to read, which has played a leading role. After Chen's father and mother went out, they also happened to meet a middle-aged couple going out for a walk. "Old Chen, you guys are also taking a walk?" "Yeah. If you're full, just walk around and digest. By the way, is Xiao Fan okay? I heard he awakened a normal fire-type talent, which is really a pity." Chen's father fell silent for a while upon hearing this. The people in this community are all too familiar, almost everyone will know anything that happens. The couple living across from him are Mr. and Mrs. Liu, but they usually don't call each other's names very much. It feels more friendly to call each other Old Chen and Old Liu. "That kid from our family, who doesn't do well in school, just awakened an excellent level of fire talent, which really surprised me." Lao Lu is a middle-aged man with a 40-year-old appearance, wearing black casual pants and a black T-shirt. He is now smiling all over his face. When talking about his son, he even felt a surge of pride. Originally, due to their son's poor academic performance, they all felt that their son's awakened talent may only be ordinary. Whoever wanted to awaken their excellent fire talent, which made them very happy. You should know that their husband and wife are both ordinary talents, and their son is more outstanding than the blue. In the future, I will definitely have a better life and be able to move out of this community and live in a better one. Thinking of this, Mr. and Mrs. Liu were particularly happy in their hearts, feeling that their future was bright. Now that kid in my family has already broken through the 4 levels of martial arts and disciples realm, there is hope that he can successfully break through the 10 levels of martial arts and disciples realm during the martial arts assessment. Perhaps there is still a chance to successfully break through the martial arts. When Lao Lu talked about this matter, his whole face was flushed and his speech was incessant. Chen's parents could only listen on the side, knowing that the old Lu couple was showing off to them. And these words are not the first time they have been said. They will say them to everyone, and the whole community knows them. On the other side, unconsciously, the sky seemed to be covered with a layer of darkness, and all the stars in the sky were obscured, making everything dim. Chen Fan yawned and his energy had reached 500. Breakthrough. Chen Fan silently recited in his heart, and then he felt a large amount of strength emerging from his body, and every inch of his muscles became active. Chen Fan closed his eyes, feeling the enhanced strength in his body, and after a long time, he opened his eyes again. Chen Fan's body emitted a hint of white smoke, and even had a lot of sweat on his body. Chen Fan immediately cleaned his body and changed into a new outfit. He successfully broke through and reached the level of 10 martial artists, with a strength of 10,000 pounds in his body, which can now rival that of a true warrior. I should go test my combat power now. Chen Fan stood up from the spot, opened the door, and walked out. Chapter 6. 7,000 Forces. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Walking on the roads of the community, some young people who run and exercise at night warmly greet him. "Good evening, Xiao Fan." "Good evening." Chen Fan also greeted passers-by with a smile on his face. Most of these people are acquaintances of the community and have a good relationship with their parents, so they will also greet them when they see them. After walking for about a few tens of minutes, Chen Fan arrived at the south side of the community, where there is a fitness venue. However, the fitness venue here is different from before. In addition to some strength training equipment, what is more important here is the combat testing machine. This type of machine has a huge LCD screen, about 10 inches in size, which can be used to detect its own combat power. This type of testing machine for combat effectiveness is found everywhere in the city, but the machines in their community seem a bit outdated, just old machines. The ultimate combat power that can be tested is 10,000 combat power. Although this may not sound like much, it can reach 10,000 combat power, and the entire community may not be able to find one. Because the people who can achieve 10,000 combat power are all powerful warriors, most of whom will move out of this community to a better community where there are more comprehensive cultivation resources. Chen Fan looked around and found that there were not many people coming here at night. After all, most people exercise in the morning and go for a walk at night. I don't know how much real combat power I have now. Chen Fan is still very uneasy in his heart. He took a breath and came to the machine, where the power inside his body gathered in his palm. Then he slapped it forward. Bang! A huge roar sounded, and the machine trembled slightly. A line of numbers quickly lit up on the screen. 5,000, the number flashed by, and Chen Fan's eyes became bright. As expected, his current combat power has reached that of a warrior, which is enough to deal with ordinary warriors. And this was his easy blow, without using any martial arts skills, otherwise his power would be even stronger. Chen Fan is still very satisfied with this combat power in his heart. There are still 20.9 days left, during which I will definitely be able to break through the warriors, but I don't know how strong my combat power was at that time. Chen Fan's eyes became sharp, he raised his fist again, and then slowly closed his eyes. An inexplicable force gathered above his fist. The power of qi and blood in one's own body has been fully mobilized. He unleashed his rolling stone fist, this time with even more terrifying power, fiercely bombarding the machine. Bang! The machine trembled even more violently, with violent fluctuations. The original 5,000 combat power began to rise crazily, and finally stopped at 7,000. 3 levels of martial arts. Chen Fan was very excited and didn't expect that in just 2 days, he would go from being a small warrior to being comparable to a warrior in 3 levels. This kind of talent has surpassed the divine level talent and truly deserves to be the strongest divine king level talent. The sun god body has given me a huge surprise. Chen Fan took a soft breath and felt that if he participated in the martial arts assessment now, he would definitely pass. And now he is only practicing the most ordinary F.level martial arts, with such a terrifying increase. If he were to cultivate a higher level E.level martial arts, he would probably be able to easily unleash 10,000 combat power. Chen Fan was full of confidence in the future, and his expression became somewhat rosy due to excitement. With his current strength, he can already join an ordinary school. In addition to the top 10 schools, there are also some suitable schools for ordinary martial artists in this world. As long as there are enough contributions, they can also cultivate powerful martial arts skills. Of course, it is not as comprehensive as the top 10 schools, but for ordinary warriors, it is also an opportunity. After joining the school, one can also open a martial arts school, which can improve the life of the family. You should know that the income of a martial arts school, even the most ordinary martial arts school, can earn as much money in a year as an ordinary person can earn in a lifetime, completely divided into 2 classes. It seems that I underestimated my own combat power, or rather underestimated the sun god body. At this moment, a faint layer of gold appeared in Chen Fan's pupils. This level of divine king's body can even absorb the true fire of the sun. Their physical constitution and the power of controlling elements can rival ordinary martial arts skills. Just now, Chen Fan is completely unable to uncover the true power held by the sun god body. Because his current level is still too low. Once all the power of the sun god body is developed, even without the use of any martial arts, there may be unimaginable power. However, this is not something we are currently considering. After all, I have to eat every bite of food, and now my main concern is to break through to become a warrior. Chen Fan restrained his strength, his breath gradually calmed down, and then prepared to leave this place. Chen Fan carried his hands on his back and headed towards his home. On the way home, Chen Fan happened to meet several classmates, one of whom was still a couple, looking very affectionate. The two held hands and walked together. In this era, people can talk about marriage in high school, and most of them will awaken their talents in high school and then have to go to the battlefield. Even many people give birth directly before going to the battlefield. After all, no one can guarantee whether one can safely return from above after going to the front-line battlefield. So when Chen Fan sees a loving couple, he doesn't mind either. In this era, we are all encouraging childbirth. Even if the legal age is adjusted to 16, one can get married and have children. Good evening, Chen Fan. These students warmly greeted Chen Fan. When they were studying, they all consulted Chen Fan, and Chen Fan patiently guided them, so they were all grateful to Chen Fan in their hearts. Good evening. Chen Fan nodded politely at them. Chen Fan, are you still going back to school? Asked a girl, who had awakened an ordinary talent and looked pretty, wearing a light blue school uniform. Let's wait for the martial artist's assessment before we talk. Chen Fan said, I'll go home first. Goodbye. Chen Fan waved his hand towards the crowd and continued towards home. You're still so arrogant. Aren't you awakening ordinary talents like us? One of the male classmates was dissatisfied and let out a cold snort. This male classmate's grades are usually very poor, and he was already jealous of Chen Fan's good grades. Now that he sees Chen Fan still as he used to be, he seems to be indifferent to them, which naturally makes him unhappy. Chapter 7. Shocking Classmates, Terrifying Combat Power. You are listening at novel.full.audio. At least Chen Fan used to be a top student, a bit arrogant, that's normal, said the delicate woman in school uniform. Wang Ying, I know you have a good impression of Chen Fan, that's why I helped him speak up. One of them pointed it out. Wang Ying glanced at the person and then said no more. At this moment, the couple among the students, one of whom was a man, said, if you like it, go after it. Anyway, going to the front line after this assessment is a near death, don't leave any regrets. Wang Ying has a slender figure and a delicate appearance, and many male classmates have expressed their favor towards her. As the saying goes, if Wang Ying is willing to take the initiative, the probability of success is still very high. Don't come up with blind ideas here. The woman of the couple pinched her boyfriend's waist in dissatisfaction and said. The man smiled and said, I'm not talking nonsense. The front line is dangerous, and ordinary warriors are just cannon fodder. I'm just telling a fact. The students around were all silent. Most of them were 18 years old, with only a small portion still young and lacking in awakening talent. And most people are ordinary talents, destined to go to the battlefield as soon as possible, and no one has absolute certainty that they can guarantee to come back alive from the front line. After all, not everyone, like themselves, has awakened a talent of excellent level. Lu Ling, what level of cultivation have you reached now? Asked a female student. This female student, whose appearance is still above Wang Ying, is the true class flower in the school. Upon hearing a beautiful woman's inquiry, Lu Ling proudly raised her head and said, I have reached the level of martial arts and apprenticeship, just average. So impressive. The beautiful class flower was somewhat surprised. She is still 1 year old and hasn't awakened yet, but she also knows what the concept of the 4 levels of martial arts and apprenticeship is. That is to say, it is possible to break through to the martial arts realm in a month, and perhaps pass the assessment at that time. You broke through, how come I don't know? Lu Ling's girlfriend was somewhat surprised, but more so. Her boyfriend is so amazing, and she is also very happy in her heart. I just broke through yesterday, and during this period, my family has also provided me with some cultivation resources. I will strive to break through to become a martial artist within a month. The man touched his girlfriend's hair and walked towards the training ground. My girlfriend's eyes lit up and she smiled, it seems you have a great deal of confidence. It's not a big problem, it may even break through in less than a month. My current combat power has reached 1000, and I have enough cultivation resources. Being a martial artist is not difficult for me. The man's gaze was full of confidence. Later, he looked around at his classmates, all with a look of admiration, even the beautiful class flower was like this, and his heart became even more proud. Ah! Unfortunately, what Chen Fan awakened was an ordinary talent. Otherwise, he might have become a martial artist, after all, his academic performance is so good. The beautiful class flower sighed, she actually had a great liking for Chen Fan. After all, Chen Fan is gentle and elegant. He was the most dazzling presence among his classmates at the time, often giving speeches on stage. Over time, everyone got to know Chen Fan, and coupled with consistently ranking first in the grade, everyone felt that Chen Fan was the most likely to awaken a talent at an excellent or even higher level. Reading may not necessarily awaken a strong talent, but it's just a high probability. Unfortunately, Chen Fan didn't have this luck. Lu Ling looked proud and felt that she had widened the gap with Chen Fan. At first, he could only envy Chen Fan, but now that he has awakened his excellent talent, he has surpassed the other party, which makes him very comfortable in his heart. Although Chen Fan is also the focus now, most people are just regretful towards him. Unlike himself, he is destined to widen the gap with his classmates in the future. And Chen Fan may even die on the frontline battlefield. Let me show you now, how much specific combat power I have achieved. Lu Ling walked up to the machine in front of everyone, and the red light on it went out. It seemed that someone had just used it here. However, Lu Ling didn't pay attention. He took a deep breath, then clenched his fist and bombarded towards the front. Boom! A tremendous force attacked the machine, followed by a row of numbers. 1000, the 4 levels of martial arts and apprenticeship. The beautiful Ban Hua's pupils contracted for a moment, and a look of envy appeared on her face. Her gaze towards Lu Ling was somewhat different. Liu Ling's girlfriend is particularly excited. Her appearance is similar to that of Wang Ying, both of which are above average, and her appearance is slightly inferior to that of Ban Hua. But who made her find a good man? She has been with her boyfriend for 3 years and has a deep enough relationship. So when he saw his boyfriend being so amazing, he also felt a glow on his face. That's amazing, Lu Ling. Truly deserving of being an excellent level talent. If only I could awaken such a talent in the future, I have to wake up with a smile in my dreams. Everyone is complimenting Lu Ling, even Wang Ying has developed a favorable impression of Lu Ling. In this world, it is normal to admire strong talents. People with high talents are indeed enviable and more likely to develop favorable feelings. As for Chen Fan, Wang Ying didn't think much anymore. Although she had a good impression of Chen Fan before, she no longer has that feeling. Perhaps it's because Chen Fan has become too ordinary, like herself, not so dazzling anymore. Or perhaps for other reasons. By the way, just now I saw that there was still light on this machine. It must have been tested here 2 or 3 minutes ago. Why don't we take a look, said Ban Hua Chu Wei. A few minutes ago, only Chen Fan passed by here, and it is highly likely that he came here to test. Okay. Lu Ling also realized this point and started clicking on the machine to view the records. When he opened the record and looked at the red font that appeared on it, his entire expression froze. Impossible. His face showed an incredulous expression, and he even rubbed his eyes, feeling that he had misread. Other people also leaned in and looked at the numbers on it. Everyone was shocked and their pupils tightened. 7,000, they felt like something was stuck in their throats, and everything they saw in front of them was unbelievable. This is a warrior-level combat power. Just now there was only one person here, and that was Chen Fan. Isn't he just an ordinary talent? Chu Wei, the class flower, thought of this possibility. Otherwise, how could it be possible to become a powerful warrior in just a few days? Can it not be Chen Fan? Wang Ying guessed. But there was silence here, and there were not many people. Obviously, this speculation was somewhat illogical. I got it. Lu Ling's eyes suddenly lit up, as if she had figured something out. What Chen Fan awakened was actually. Chapter 8. Powerful Martial Arts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What he awakened was extraordinary talent. In Lu Ling's understanding, perhaps only extraordinary talents can break through and become warriors in such a short period of time. But when he finished speaking, he regretted it because his speculation was even more outrageous. The people around were also silent and obviously did not believe this speculation. It shouldn't be Chen Fan. He is indeed just an ordinary talent, and even with extraordinary talents, he cannot become a warrior in a few days. A student wearing glasses said. His academic performance is also very good on a daily basis, but he is a second in 10,000 years, and the first place is always dominated by Chen Fan. His name is Gao Wu, but he is not yet 18 years old and has not yet awakened his talent. Who would it be if it weren't Chen Fan? Said Ban Hua curiously. Everyone was bowing their heads and pondering, obviously not thinking of a better candidate. I also think it shouldn't be Chen Fan. Although he has good academic performance, he can never awaken extraordinary talents. There is no extraordinary talent in the world. No one in the entire high school or star city can awaken such talent. Wang Ying is the one who least wants Chen Fan to turn from a useless person to a genius. After all, not long ago, she felt that Chen Fan was no longer so dazzling and was no longer the perfect boyfriend in her heart. If it's really Chen Fan who did it, wouldn't it be that she took a wrong look? I'm afraid it will become a joke for the whole school, and it will be too embarrassing. Which martial arts master came here to test this 7,000 combat power? Someone asked the doubts in their heart. But no one answered him because none of the people present knew. For everyone, martial artists can actually be considered important figures. Among them, except for Lu Ling, who has the chance to become a martial artist, most people have a high probability that they will never reach the realm of martial artists in their lifetime. This is talent. The higher the talent, the easier it is for people to become stronger. If one's talent is too low, the starting point for others may be their end point. This has been explored by our ancestors throughout history, so everyone knows that only strong talents can determine a person's strength and status. Forget it, why should we speculate here? I will eventually become a warrior too. Lu Ling is full of confidence. He is destined to become a warrior, and even has the opportunity to break through and become a warrior in the future. At this moment, he seemed to be shining brightly, even Ban Hua couldn't help but take a second glance at him. After all, the talents at the excellent level are already considered the top in their class. Ban Hua knows she is beautiful, but for powerful warriors, being beautiful doesn't have much effect. Because there are too many beautiful ordinary people, even after becoming a warrior, there is no shortage of beautiful women around them. In this era, strength is the only truth. Lu Ling, become a warrior in the future, don't forget us. Yeah. Remember to carry us more. Lu Ling, let me work in your martial arts school in the future. The surrounding students talked about this topic and praised Lu Ling one after another. They know that they are still in the same school as Lu Ling now, which is a kind of luck. Once they leave the school, their identity will undergo a revolutionary change. At that time, Lu Ling will be a big shot, and there won't be much interaction with him. It's easy to say, don't worry, I won't forget you when I develop. Lu Ling is full of confidence in her heart, feeling that the future is bright. Liu Ling's girlfriend felt a wave of pride in her heart, but also worried. As a woman, she could feel the changes in the expressions of the class flowers. But she knew that the class flowers were not her biggest threat yet. After leaving school, Lu Ling will encounter more beautiful women and gain higher power, which will be the time for the greatest change. She has heard a lot about some people who become powerful and then abandon their wives and children, completely ignoring them. Do you think it's possible for the current king dragon to cultivate to the level of a warrior? Wang Ying suddenly spoke up and asked. Upon hearing this, everyone turned their gaze to her, feeling that the sentence she had asked was somewhat absurd. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Although Wang Long's talent is a fire-type talent at the elite level, powerful talents also take time to become stronger. He has now reached the 8th level of martial arts and apprenticeship at most. Lu Ling immediately denied it. Are you joking? A warrior is not a big cabbage, how could he possibly succeed in cultivation so easily? I also think it's impossible. I heard that in order to break through a warrior, one needs to be fully prepared and accumulate some knowledge. If the accumulation is not enough, forcing a breakthrough may also damage oneself. Ban Hua Chu Wei, her father is a powerful warrior, so she knows better than ordinary people how difficult it is to become a warrior. Then this is definitely not something Chen Fan did. It should be a powerful warrior who passed by this place and wanted to test it casually. The reason why we didn't see anyone is that we couldn't find the trace of the warrior. Wang Ying breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. She was a typical person who didn't want to see Chen Fan live too poorly, nor did she want Chen Fan to live too well. Everyone quickly left this place, and it became quiet again. At the same time, Chen Fan returned home, turned on the light, lay on the sofa, and turned on the TV. It was Peppa Pig on TV. Chen Fan just glanced at it casually and then changed channels. I soon saw a TV drama called Extreme Fury, which tells the story of a fish seller who grows into a big shot. Chen Fan casually watched a few episodes and found it quite interesting because the big shot he grew up into was a powerful master. The fighting inside looks so cool, it can easily summon a large number of flames to wrap around you, and the attack power is amazing. The attack power of a casual palm can easily crush a mountain peak, and even a small mountain-sized ferocious beast can be forcefully torn apart with the palm of its hand. What a powerful martial arts! Chen Fan watched the martial arts displayed by the great masters on TV, which were many times more advanced than his own. Later, Chen Fan pondered that in order to enhance his combat power, he must learn more powerful martial arts. What are the channels to obtain martial arts now? Chen Fan tapped lightly on the sofa with his fingers, his mind not focused on the TV. Chapter 9. Breakthrough Warriors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He feels that his current martial arts level is still too low. Rolling Stone Fist is a martial art that everyone can learn, and its power is naturally not much stronger. Basically, it is the most basic martial arts that individuals can cultivate to perfection within their time. This type of martial arts should be considered the most ordinary among F.level martial arts, and there is nothing unusual about it. This kind of martial arts cannot fully unleash his true combat power, and only then can he increase his combat power by up to 2000, not even doubling it. He knows that there are some powerful martial arts that can increase their combat power by dozens of times. That is to say, if there is 5,000 combat power, it can unleash a terrifying force of 50,000 combat power. If he could learn such terrifying martial arts, even killing a warrior at his current level would probably be effortless. However, Chen Fan also knew that this was just a thought. This level of martial arts may have reached the S level, or even higher, and it is completely beyond his reach. And it also requires a certain level of physical strength, and one's own combat power must meet the standard, otherwise practicing this extreme martial arts is easy to explode and die. So it is strictly stipulated that martial artists below can only practice F.level martial arts, and of course, there are also some geniuses who can practice E.level martial arts in advance. But these people are only a minority after all. With my current combat power, even practicing E.level martial arts shouldn't be too difficult, it's just that I can't afford this level of martial arts at all. Chen Fan sighed. Nowadays, schools sell martial arts of this level, and some shops outside also sell them, but it requires a lot of money. As an ordinary family, I cannot afford to buy them even if I have to spend all my money. In fact, Chen Fan felt in his heart that even higher .level D.level martial arts could be mastered by him, and when they were weak, he might only be able to unleash his true combat power. Chen Fan turned off the TV with the remote control, and now he has no mood to watch TV at all. He is just thinking about how to get a higher level of martial arts. This made him feel a little itchy in his heart. After all, having powerful talents without corresponding powerful martial arts is simply unbearable. It's like having brute force but not being able to use it, it's a complete waste. By the way, I thought of it. Chen Fan suddenly remembered from the TV he had just watched that the fish seller rose up because he went out of the city wall to kill ferocious beasts, and then obtained enough money to exchange for higher level martial arts. When he was watching just now, he didn't pay much attention and just casually looked around as entertainment. After all, what is filmed in TV dramas is somewhat outrageous. Even in the realm of martial arts, they dare to go out of the city and kill the ferocious beasts that appear in the cracks of the space. That level of terrifying beast is countless times stronger than the one he killed outside the city. Not to mention being a warrior, even the presence of some warrior quadruples may not be able to fully retreat from the mouths of these ferocious beasts. However, Chen Fan's goal is not to kill this level of ferocious beasts, but to choose to kill those low-level ferocious beasts. Ordinary ferocious beasts are mutated from animals, just like the giant wolf he recently encountered. Although they look terrifying, they simply follow their instincts. Basically, there are only a few moves that come back and forth, rushing towards oneself, so this fierce beast is easy to deal with. But there is also a drawback: the value of this ferocious beast is not very high, and it is not worth much money. After all, those ferocious beasts can even be killed by ordinary martial artists, but their strength is still too low. If you want to be valuable, you must reach the level of a warrior as a ferocious beast. Even if it is a mutated ordinary animal, once it reaches level 2, the ferocious beast will become even more ferocious and its strength will undergo a qualitative change. Perhaps after I break through the warriors, I can try to kill the fierce beasts that come out of the space cracks. Chen Fan originally did not want to fight against this level of ferocious beast. Although the danger level is high, the benefits are equally high. But Chen Fan had a feeling in his heart that once he made a breakthrough and became a warrior, his own strength would undergo a tremendous change, and his combat power would probably surpass that of an ordinary warrior. This is also something that cannot be done. Children of the poor are already in charge. My own parents cannot allow me to achieve higher levels of martial arts, so all of this depends entirely on myself. But he doesn't hate his parents, nor does he hate his family of origin. After all, there are too many ordinary people in the world, and it is impossible for everyone to become a powerful warrior. But the human race needs hope for the future and a continuous increase in population, which is also the trend. As long as there are newborn babies, there is a spark of hope, and the human race will have a brilliant future. I really hope to break through the martial artists earlier. Chen Fan got up from the sofa, poured a glass of water on the table, and drank it all in one gulp. Although I want to break through as soon as possible, everything is in a hurry and there is no sun at night. Everything needs to be done slowly. He was a bit bored and started scrolling through his phone when he suddenly saw one of the videos, which was particularly eye-catching. Assessment reform: 36 cities, participating in martial arts assessment together, who will be the champion candidate. There is another video below, and Chen Fan couldn't help but click on it after seeing the title. 36 cities, ranked among the top 10 geniuses. 10th place, Wang Yan, Awakens the top-level elite fire-type talent. Before the warrior assessment, he is sure to reach the later stage of the warrior. 9th place, Lu Sheng, Awakens the ice talent of top elites, comparable to extraordinary talents. 1st place, Feng Changtian, Awakens top extraordinary talents, comparable to holy level talents. Upon seeing the news above, Chen Fan's eyes flickered and he felt a hint of pressure. Some people have a large amount of cultivation resources at home, coupled with their awakened top talents, and now they can cultivate to the mid-level of martial arts, which is also a normal level. But it seems that Lu Sheng remembered that he was the first awakened talent in Star City this year, and he didn't expect to only rank 9th among the top 10 geniuses. Indeed, there are people outside of us, and heaven outside of us. The top 10 geniuses have stronger cultivation than me and sufficient cultivation resources. Their cultivation is unfathomable and they also possess corresponding powerful martial arts. Especially the 1st place, although there is no description of what level it is, it is very likely to reach the level of a warrior during the martial arts assessment. However, only with pressure can there be motivation. Although Chen Fan knows that winning first place is not so easy, he is also full of expectations. He is a divine king-level talent, surpassing the talents possessed by these people. Although he awakened a bit late, he is destined to surpass them. The next day, Chen Fan left early and returned late, not knowing what he was doing, but when he returned home, welcoming him was the worried gaze of Chen's mother. "Where have you been lately? Why do you go out so early every day and don't even have lunch?" asked Chen's mother. She is still a bit worried about her son's condition. "Just go for a walk, I went for a buffet at noon." Chen Fan returned home, explained it for a moment, and then started eating big meals. Although the taste of white rice is good, Chen Fan has a big appetite. He went to the buffet for lunch and ate the same amount as 6 people alone. Chen Fan still remembers the shocked eyes of the boss when he left the self-service shop. "Brother, how can you eat so much lately? It seems like you haven't grown much meat yet." Sister Chen Shui approached Chen Fan and said with a smile. Chen Fan continued to eat without even glancing at Chen Shui and said, "You should study hard. Don't worry about adults or children." Chen Shui rolled her eyes and said, "Humph. You're only a few years older than me." Chen Fan ignored and continued to eat, quickly feeling full and drunk. Then, a few more days passed, and it was already 5 days. We successfully accumulated 1,500 points of energy before it indicated that we could break through. Indeed, breaking through the realm of martial artists is different from before, requiring several times more energy directly. "I don't know what level of combat power I can reach after breaking through." Chen Fan's eyes were bright, and he even looked forward to the next changes. He took a deep breath and then began to silently recite in his heart. Breakthrough. A large amount of energy in his body began to disappear, and then his body began to undergo earth-shattering changes. Chapter 10. Returning to School. You are listening at novel.audio. Chen Fan's body erupted with countless warm currents, and even golden flames erupted from his body, burning fiercely outside his body surface. Fortunately, at this moment, he is not at home, but in an empty park. Chen Fan felt that countless forces were surging out of his body, like a tide rushing out. Chen Fan was originally a martial artist with 10 levels of perfection, but now he feels more like a cup of water that is about to be filled, filling the last bit of vacancy. When water is full, it overflows. Boom! In an instant, a terrifying force of qi and blood rushed out of Chen Fan's body, and his robe moved without wind, making a hunting sound. Everything comes naturally. He successfully broke through and cultivated to the level of a warrior. Chen Fan felt a slight soreness in every inch of his muscles, but it was replaced by a terrifying increase in strength. This kind of elevation is completely like a sublimation, as the flames around him gradually disappear, and the strength all over his body skyrocket 10 times. Originally, Chen Fan only had a combat power of 10,000 pounds, but now his power has reached a terrifying 100,000. Under such power, Chen Fan felt that he could kill an ordinary warrior with just one punch. "With my current strength, without using any martial arts, I'm afraid I can compete with the experts of the martial arts 4 levels. Chen Fan is full of confidence, because at this moment his combat power has doubled, and he was barely strong enough to have 7,000 combat power. Now that it has skyrocketed so much, it is different from the past. As the saying goes, after 3 days of separation, one should be impressed. Chen Fan moved his muscles and bones, swung his fist forward, and a loud sound of breaking through the air surged, even his speed skyrocketed several times. A mournful cry sounded in the air, as if he had been knocked out. My own strength is so strong, but unfortunately there is no suitable martial arts. Chen Fan Gang has just unleashed the Rolling Stone Fist, but it cannot fully unleash his true combat power, and the increase in power for him is too small. The top priority is for me to learn a more powerful martial arts. Chen Fan believes that as long as he has strong martial arts skills, he can definitely compete with the 6th level martial artists and will not fall behind at all. I remember going to the school's official website and saying that it would teach an E.level martial arts to those who have awakened their talents. Although it is very likely to be the most ordinary E.level martial arts, it is still much stronger than F.level martial arts. After learning this martial arts, there is no great danger in hunting ferocious beasts outside the city. I can exchange it for even more powerful martial arts. Then, having made up his mind, Chen Fan immediately stood up. To learn powerful martial arts, one must go outside to hunt down ferocious beasts and obtain enough money. However, as a student, he can only go to the first floor area of the outer city when leaving the city, and there is almost no second-level fierce beast in sight. You must go to the second-level area in order to find second-level ferocious beasts that are comparable to warriors. So now he needs to take leave and obtain approval before he can go to the second-floor area. After all, the second-floor area is already considered the front line. According to Chen Fan's knowledge, the area of Star City has approximately 4 levels, and the last level area is the forefront of the front line. It is said that there are terrifying level 4 ferocious beasts there, comparable to the existence of a master level. Chen Fan left the park and first returned home, saying hello. Mom, I've been to school and I may not be back home much during this time. Are you going to live on campus? Is the money enough? Enough, I'm leaving. Chen Fan left home again and went to school. He said this mainly to reassure his family. He did not inform his mother that he was going outside the city, otherwise he would definitely worry. When Chen Fan crossed over, he was just an adult and he still knew some things. Chen Fan walked on the street and quickly arrived at a bus stop based on his memory. He got on bus number 8, paid a few coins, and the bus quickly moved forward. There were no extra seats above, so Chen Fan was standing. He looked at the people around him, men and women, old and young, with a feeling of returning to his past life. Because in this world now, apart from ferocious beasts, there are also people who can master the power of elements and become warriors, but there are actually no significant changes in anything else. For example, on the bus, students are all wearing school uniforms and their faces are full of youthful energy. Some people are talking about their favorite celebrities, and their faces are filled with excited smiles. Of course, there were also some female students who occasionally glanced at him. However, Chen Fan remained calm in his heart. After breaking through to become a warrior, he found that his skin had become more delicate, his body had become stronger, and he had a masculine aura on his body. That little brother is so handsome, just like the star I like. Yeah, he's so handsome. Can he be a warrior? I don't think so. How could a warrior come to take the bus? These female students discussed quietly, but after Chen Fan broke through, his ears became exceptionally sensitive, and even if the other person's voice was very low, he could still hear it clearly. This is the benefit of a breakthrough warrior, but more importantly, because of their own sun god body, which has various enhancements. So there is still a big gap between it and ordinary warriors after breaking through. Xingqing No. 1 Middle School has arrived. Passengers who need to get off ahead, please be prepared. I don't know how long it took, but a warning sound sounded in the car. Chen Fan happened to be standing next to the car door and walked towards it. When the car stopped, Chen Fan took the opportunity to get off. Chen Fan stood in front of the platform and looked up to see a college with the 4 big characters of Xingqing No. 1 Middle School written here. He walked forward and soon walked into the school. There is not much difference between the school and what he remembers. After all, he has only been away for a few days, and there are still people coming and going here, and now it is time for class to end. Some students go to the store in groups to buy things, or stand in the hallway chatting and basking in the sunshine outside. Chen Fan quickly arrived at the entrance of Class 1 in his sophomore year and glanced inside. The homeroom teacher was not here. Chen Fan, why didn't you tell me when you went back to school? A chubby-looking student walked towards Chen Fan, his eyes full of surprise. He was wearing a blue school uniform and looked very lucky. This person is Zhao Heng, Chen Fan's close ally. It's been a while since our Canyon twin swordsmen last opened the game, and you haven't played any games during this time. I'm really worried. Zhao Heng began to chatter incessantly. Chen Fan listened silently beside him, not because he didn't want to say anything, but because he really couldn't get in. He is a complete talker when he meets his close friend, and being able to say a lot of things is really a headache. Chen Fan is back. It seems that he has accepted reality. After all, after the martial arts assessment, they will go to the front line and definitely come to school to learn. With the guidance of teachers here, the probability of surviving on the front line is also high. The other students in Class 1 were whispering and discussing there. Most of them are also ordinary talents, and they feel a bit uneasy about going to the front line. Now they want to cultivate well and strive to come back alive from the front line.